Greetings and salutations, everyone. This is Tam O'Shanter, and today we're going to do a little vlog. And the particular reason for this is, one, I haven't done one in a really long time, or it seems like a really long time. Updates I've done, tried to keep them a little bit shorter. But there's a couple reasons for this. I don't really know what to play today. And part of that is I really want to get out of here at close to when my alarm goes off to go to work, because it's raining outside. And I think it's, let me check my phone here. I think it's pretty close to freezing. It's 37 degrees, so I guess that's not too close to freezing. But it may be, the temperature may be a little bit lower than that in 30 minutes or so when I leave, or when I should leave. So basically it's an abundance of caution. Because it is a 30-minute drive for me in good conditions. So if the roads turn to absolute shit, obviously I need to drive a little slower. I'm not really anticipating that, but I would like to leave a little bit more promptly than I usually do. Just because of, well, what could be happening. It says 37. That's probably at our airport, which is a few miles away from me and closer to the city. And I don't know if you've ever experienced this when you're driving, but just sometime if you live in a rural, near a city but in a rural area, drive out of the city and into the rural area and look at the thermometer on your vehicle if you have one, because it's like 5 degrees warmer in the city. And then once I get away from the city and get out, like closer to my home, about probably getting about halfway home. Well, maybe a little less than halfway home. When I actually get proper away from like the interstate and anything commercial or whatever, because even when you're outside of the city proper, there's still a lot of commercial buildings in the interstate and all that kind of stuff where there's a lot of traffic and whatnot. But once I get closer to my house, say probably within 5 miles, so maybe about 5 minutes or so from home, no, maybe a little longer than that, maybe about 10 minutes from home, the temperature drops dramatically because there's nothing but farm fields. Nothing. There's nothing. Dirt roads. The road I drive home on is a rural road, but it's a paved rural road. But all the offshoots coming off of it are all gravel roads or whatever, rock roads. And so once you get out there in the fields and there's no buildings and no concrete to hold in the heat, the temperature just, so it might be 37 here, but I might leave my house and drive down the street a little way and the temperature drops from 37 to 31 or something like that, 32. So basically, it's just an abundance of caution. It was snowing earlier today, but it was kind of too warm for the snow to stick around. And I have that built-in. The reason I don't have to be to work at 10. It takes me 30 minutes to get to work, barring any complications or traffic accidents or bad weather or whatever. Just a normal day, it's a 30-minute drive. And the reason I leave around 9-ish, well, in good weather I might leave closer to 9:10 or 9:15, is because I like to have that. I don't like having my routines changed. It bothers me to, I like my routines, god damn it. And when I have to change my routine, it's not like I freak out or anything, at least not externally, actually not even really internally, but it kind of sets me off kilter when I have to change. I don't like changing things. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So I leave at 9 o'clock. I set my alarm to leave at 9 o'clock. So that if I left at 9 o'clock in good weather, I would get to work 30 minutes early. Well, that's 30 minutes that I just hang out and waste, obviously. But in the wintertime, if I still leave at 9 o'clock, I have that extra 30-minute buffer in case of bad weather, and I don't have to change my routine, if that makes any sense. Because I just totally do not like. It's like, and we used to have briefing until the COVID stuff started running around in our building. We used to have our shift briefing in the visitation room in my facility. Now we have it in the conference room. And that's just because there's another agency in our facility now, and we didn't want cross-contamination issues. So we do it in the conference room now. But in the visitation room, I sat in the same chair at the same table since the building opened in 2002. And just so you know, that when I would everybody knows where their seat is. Everybody that's been there for a while knows where their seat is. But sometimes you get like on calls, which are basically part-timers. They come in, and every time I've walked in and there's been an on call in my chair, they know right away that they're sitting in the wrong seat, because I'm looking at them like, the fuck are you doing in my chair? Get out of my chair and get out of my table. What are you doing? The last person I did that walked in, she's like, I'm in your chair, aren't I? And I was like, yes, get out of my chair. Why are you in my chair? You can sit at my table, even though that's a little bit weird too, because nobody sat at my table since my friend John quit like 12, 13, 14 years ago, however long it's been. It's been quite a little while. So nobody's really sat at my table since then, and so it's weird now. If John came back and sat at my table, that would not be weird. But now if somebody else sits at my table, that's not John, even though he's been gone that long, it's weird. See, this is how my brain works. It does not like change. It gets very upset about it. And yeah, I don't like change. I like to do things the same way every time. Don't like change. I don't like it. I like routine, because routine is like it's like control, right? So I don't like being out of control or feeling out of control or feeling like I don't have control. So routine is very nice. So when you kick me off my routine, I feel a little bit out of control, a little bit wobbly. Maybe wobbly is a good way to say it. It's kind of like a little off center. It's like, oh, now my whole day is all weird because you sat in my chair, and now my day is going to be really weird. So yeah. But that's the reason for having the 30-minute extra time built in. That's why I leave at 9 instead of 9:30 or 9:20 or whatever. That, and I hate being late. So yeah, I'm very prompt. If you tell me to be somewhere, I'm going to be there probably 15 or 20 minutes earlier than you told me, because that's just me. I don't like being late. My nephew is the same way. He doesn't like being late either. So I can't say that of all my family members. Some of my family members would be late to their own funerals, and some of my friends too, as far as that goes. But I can't do that. Doesn't and I've been even way earlier than that before, when I wasn't sure like how long some place was going to take me to get, either just like, say, going just to use a job interview, because not that I've gone to a lot of job interviews, but I've gone to a couple recently, and it's like going to these, and then they're in, less familiar places to me. I don't spend a lot of time in the city, because why? Sorry, I hate shopping, so I don't, except for online. I'm not very social. I mean, I enjoy a good sit down and chat, obviously. Could you get me to shut up? Probably not. But as a general rule, I prefer to be by myself mostly, hang out with my dogs. I'm really kind of a homebody. I'm not really, I don't go out to bars, except for the bar in my town. But that's just to eat food. It's not to like raise a ruckus or anything like that. But there's like times that I've had to go someplace. We'll just say it's an interview or some other kind of thing where I have to go somewhere that I'm unfamiliar with, and like I might be familiar with the area, but unfamiliar with the exact area. Like my most recent interview was with our state police, and I had to go to the air base, the Air Force base, the Air Reserve base, I should say. And while I know where the air base is at, I've not really spent any time on the air base. Um, and as for why the State Patrol was at the air base, it's because it's it's not just the air. They called the air base because there are airplanes there, and the Air Force is there, the Air Force Reserve, and the Air National Guard, and also is the Army National Guard and the Navy Reserves or whatever they're called. And then because those are all state entities, I mean they're obviously federal government entities, but they're state level government entities, and so the State Patrol building is in the Air Force, this Armed Forces building. That's the National Guard and all of those guys together, because it's all a state entity on the airbase. So you had to, I had to like get my ID checked and all of that fun stuff by guys with guns, and one of my friends actually works security there, so I got to talk to him a little bit, but and that's because I wasn't familiar with the, I knew how to get to the airbase. Obviously, I've been past the airbase a bazillion times, but I wasn't familiar with where I needed to go on the airbase, and the instructions were kind of fuzzy. So, I mean, they sent me a map, basically, with a whole bunch of scribbles on it, and then a picture of the, like a Google Earth picture of the building I was supposed to go to. I was like, okay. So, I didn't want to be late for an interview. Obviously, that would be bad, so I went early, and then, of course, it wasn't as difficult to navigate to as I thought it was going to be, even having to go through checkpoints. I had to go through the initial checkpoint where checking my ID and asking me my business there. My business. What's business up here with the, armed guy? Hi, please don't shoot me. Then I had to go to another checkpoint for COVID before I could go on to my place, find the building where I was supposed to interview. And so I was like, say 25, 30 minutes early. So that's when I texted my friend and was like, are you working today? Because I'm over at this building if you're here. And so he came over, drove his little security vehicle. He's armed as well. He has a big ass nice rifle. And I don't know what kind. I wasn't really paying attention. I know it's a rifle. I'll have to look at some of his pictures. But anyway, he came over and it was pouring rain. It was cold and it was windy as shit. So he's standing out there in his rain poncho talking to me, and he didn't get to talk to me for very long. Not because of the rain, but because of the lightning. Apparently, they have lightning warnings on the base. So once that lightning warning was issued, he had to leave our conversation and drive around in his truck and yell at people to go inside the building so they wouldn't get struck by lightning, which I thought was hysterically funny. But yeah, so I don't like being late. That's why I have all these buffers and things like that. So yeah, that's fun. My current issue right now, I have puppy fever right now really bad. I really, really, really want to get a puppy in the spring. I have 2 dogs, and I don't think 3 would be that big of a deal. We had 3 until recently, and my mom's dog passed away. But yeah, I think my mom would have an aneurysm. Oh, it's my house, though. I mean, I get to do whatever I want to. She just lives here. At least that's how it worked when I was a kid. I didn't get any say in shit because I just fucking lived there. I didn't pay the bills. And I was told that multiple times. When you pay the bills, you can do what you want to. Unless you have your mother in your house. You can still do what you want to, but you're gonna hear about it all fucking day. So yeah, it's terrible. I want a puppy, just like jonesing for a puppy, like really bad. I have no idea why. I guess because I haven't had a puppy. My younger dog is gonna be 3 on January 10th, so I haven't had a puppy since. When did I get him? Like March. I think I went and got him in March. Yeah, like the middle of March. Like March 10th or something, like they're March 8th. Somewhere around that area. So it's been like almost 3 years since I've had a puppy, so I feel like I need to have a puppy. Which, I'm not sure if it's a good idea or not, but I really want one. So yeah, thanks. I want to give a shout out to, all of my subbers, all 19 of yous. You're right here. You're all lovely people, I'm sure. At least you're lovely enough to hang out with me, so I guess that's saying something. You can't be terribly bad if you like me, because I'm cool. So, Pamela, thanks for your comments. Really appreciate it. Trucker Gamer, Jimmy D, Amtrue, Carol, Miller Steps, Richard. There might be a couple other people whose names I haven't seen for a while, so I can't pull them up. Because some of the people that sub to me don't actually have a YouTube page, so I can't like sub back to them and like keep up with what they're doing. If you do have one and I'm not subbed up to you, let me know in the comment sections and I'll look you up and sub up with you. But I mean, it's not that they don't have a YouTube account. Obviously, they have a YouTube account, but they don't have like videos or anything. And honestly, I don't know who all my subbers are. If there's a way to find that out, I don't know. I mean, there's like an area that I know I can see, but I can't see everybody because apparently there's some way you can block that or something. I have no idea. Or maybe it just shows the most recent ones or something. I'm not really sure how that works, but shout out to all you guys. As you can see, I put a lot of videos up over the weekend, and it's because I was kind of bored. I didn't really feel like playing a game so much. I think I played a little bit of XCOM because I've been on an XCOM kick of late. And this season is season 1. I think I've fucked it up. There are a lot more episodes to come before the end of XCOM. Oh, I should have put XCOM too. I just have XCOM. That's kind of not properly labeled, but I've gotten us into a bit of a pickle. I think I took too long to do some things in the game, and it's kind of we're kind of like hanging by our fingernails off the edge of the cliff, and I think it's going to end badly for us. But we will still play through until the end, and then we'll say farewell to that group of soldiers, and maybe I'll start up. Well, I definitely will start up another game. I see you guys seem to like The Walking Dead, at least season 1. There's 8 views up there, so that's awesome. I do have more of those to put up. The only thing about this, The Walking Dead game, is the episodes kind of have to go between chapters, or I have to, because it's really kind of where they save. So I have to go between, I have to make sure that I have enough time to go do a whole chapter, which I think is too long for one video. I mean, you can see these are like 39 and 42 minutes, and that's not a full chapter. So obviously they're going a couple hours in a chapter, or a little more maybe. So I have to have the ability or the time and availability, we'll say instead of ability, availability, to be able to record multiple episodes at a time so that I can get through the chapter, because that's the big save point. So yeah, that's so weekends, like maybe one of my days off that I can actually have dedicated time. Maybe this upcoming holiday weekend I can grind out a couple more episodes, because I think I've only have 3 recorded of The Walking Dead. And obviously 2 of them are up here, so I'm going to need to work on that a little more. I'm also going to need to turn down the volume because, and maybe this is a good thing for you guys, because you can't hear me talking most of the time. The in-game volume and like music and whatnot is too loud. Basically, I don't say anything important, and if you're familiar with the TV show, or the graphic novel, you will notice there are some familiar characters in season 1, that being Herschel Green, and later on Glenn is around. None of those characters interact with our group of people, such as they are our group, Lee and Clementine, and various people that they pick up along the way. Very long, but it's just kind of a way to tie in the graphic novel and, to a lesser degree, the TV show into the game. Because this is all taking place, at least in the first... I don't know if they get out of Atlanta the first season of The Walking Dead game or not. I can't remember. It's been a while. But yeah, so it's a really nice game. If you haven't played it, I really do recommend this series. For Telltale, you should be able to snatch those up on Steam. The actual company, Telltale, went belly up, so there's going to be no more of these games from them. Another company, another developer ran in and snatched up a game or 2 at the when they went belly up and finished them. I believe that's how it worked. I'm not sure what the games were. It might have been the last of the Walking Dead series. I'm not 100% certain on that, but you can probably Google search Telltale. And I think the other developer was like Sky something, maybe. Don't quote me on that. But another series that I would recommend in the Telltale games, it's another cel-shaded game like this, is called The Wolf Among Us, and you play the character of Big B Wolf. Big B, Big Bad Wolf. It's a story about it's murder and mayhem, murder mystery, basically, taking part in and with a group of fairy tale, fantasy, and like nursery rhyme characters. So yeah, it sounds really strange, I know, but these they live in New York, and they have their own little area, but they like wear a thing called glamour, or a potion, or I don't know, a pixie dust or some shit. It's called glamour. It makes them appear human when they're not. And if they can't glamour, they have to go to the farm, which is particularly if they're animals, if they can't afford glamour, because the more poor fairy tale people can't afford glamour. And so they look like animals that talk, walk, wear clothes. So obviously they have to go to the farm, which is, animals. It sounds ridiculous. I was very skeptical. But give it a look up on the YouTube, see if you can find some gameplay. It is actually a really nice game, and you really get into it and you stop thinking about the fact that you're Big B Wolf and he's the big bad wolf, and your sidekick sort of love interest is Snow White. The Beauty and the Beast are there, the Crooked Man, Georgie Porgy. There's ogres and all kinds of stuff. There's one of the pigs that the big bad wolf blew down the house. You know, the three pigs in the house that the wolf blew down, or tried to blow down, whatever. Um, what's his name? God, not Ebenezer. Not talking about Ebenezer Scrooge. Crane. Crane from damn it, the Headless Horseman. Ichabod Crane from the Headless Horseman. Um, all kinds of people are in the story, and so yeah, it's pretty good. So, and you should be able to get it relatively cheap, I would think. So it's a fun little game. I actually really got into it and got to the point where I was just forgetting about these guys are fairy tales and everything. It's just like, oh, there's a thing. It's pretty serious. It's not like a kid's game. There's like murders and beheadings and all kinds of crazy shit. But it's really nice. I really enjoyed it a lot, so I would do that. If you're interested in that game, I picked that up on any of these games. They're really nice to play. For me, they're easier to play on a tablet or a touchscreen, but they obviously, although I said it at the beginning of this game that they were actually made for touchscreens and tablets, they've been ported pretty well um, to the machines, to computers. But when I first played them, I played it on my tablet, and it was just much easier because you just swipe the screen with the movements, and sometimes on the computer it's like, there's too many things for me to do at once, and like that. So, but yeah, it's actually pretty good. I hope you guys enjoy them. We'll do some more Walking Dead. But there's 4 seasons, and this is just the first season. And that's what the games are actually called, seasons. Game 1, Game 2, Game 3, Game 4 are all 1, 2 episode. Oh, they're not called seasons, they're called episodes. I think. Yeah, I think they're called episodes. Like you're watching a TV show, and then at the end you'll see that it keeps track of the decisions that you made, and then when you go into the next game, it keeps track of, when you load into the next game, all your decisions from the first game travel over and influence your play in the second game, etc. and so forth as you go on. And it gives you like at the end of, like, you'll see at the end of this game, at the end of season 1 here of Walking Dead, when we get there, that it keeps track of all your decisions. It also keeps track of statistics and compares how the answers you chose or the decisions you made compared to global decisions that other players have made around the world over time. And that's always interesting. I find it particularly in The Walking Dead that I don't make popular my decisions are not the popular ones or the most common ones, we'll say. And I think that's because of just my personality. In the real world, I'm going to be a little bit willing. I mean, I'm going to be the person like a damn idiot who's going to try to get somebody out of the burning car or the burning house and probably get myself hurt or fucked up or dead because I just wouldn't be able to stop myself. However, in a post-apocalyptic world where it's more every man for themselves and less humanity, because that's what you need to survive, because I'm a realist and I'm a very logical person, so if you're going to cause me to possibly die, fuck you. I am leaving you behind, I'm killing you myself, I don't have time for you, we're not playing those kind of games. So my decisions in the Walking Dead game are more based on logic and reasoning than emotion. I mean, I can't. I mean, it doesn't mean that I don't feel bad if I have to, abandon someone or whatever. But yeah, you're not getting me killed. That's not happening. I have a very strong sense of self-preservation. Um, so no, you're not getting me killed. That's not happening. So yeah, so most of my decisions are not very popular. More people tend to go with the more more heart driven, uh, like as the world is now kind of decisions. I mean, obviously, if I could save someone now, I would save someone now. But in a post-apocalyptic world where, saving someone could end up getting you and them and maybe other people killed, then I'm going to have to start reverting back to some old philosophy stuff where it's okay, or not okay, but it's maybe perhaps an imperative to sacrifice the one for the good of the many, because there aren't many. So if you start sacrificing a whole lot of people trying to save one, you can end up in a really bad way, as society-wise, not even just group-wise, but society-wise overall. So that's illogical to me. That doesn't make any sense to me. Because in a post-apocalyptic situation, it truly is survival of the fittest. So if somebody is too weak or too stupid or too afraid or too injured or too whatever, then perhaps it's best that that person just gets killed or whatever, rather than have that person drag down everybody else. Because chances are, if you save them one time, if they're, if that's their personality, or if it's not something that they can help, let's say they're feeble-minded or their body's feeble in some way, or they're just somebody who's truly scared of everything and, indecisive and afraid or whatever, if you save them one time, then they're still with you. So what happens the next time? Do you save them again when they when something else happens and it's, the group has to, maybe sacrifice the group to save this one again and again? I mean, how many times does that have to happen? Maybe it's just best that it's over with the first time, and then, as sucky as that might be, when it's survival of the fittest, it's not going to be me, is what I'm saying. And I wouldn't be upset if people left me behind if I fell into I mean, because it makes sense. I mean, I might be not thrilled about the idea of being left behind, because that sucks for the person getting left behind. Nobody really wants to get, particularly in like this situation, nobody wants to get eaten up by zombies. That fucking sucks. And nobody wants to starve to death or die in other ways either. So, but yeah, I don't, homie, don't play like that. So I'm not, because when you think about it, most people don't think about it. That's the whole thing. There's so few people who would survive uh, this compared to the mass of people. Um, just say it's a zombie. Just say it's any kind of apocalypse, but we'll just go with the zombie apocalypse since we've got the Walking Dead thing. So anybody who requires medication to not die is going to die. This could be anybody from, the asthmatics who have bad asthma, cancer people, diabetics, people with high blood pressure. You might not die. You might not die if you have high blood pressure. I guess it depends on how high your blood pressure is and how fast you lose the weight when you don't have available food. So, or even if you survive that long. People who are feeble in other ways, any kind of crippled person, or, person who's less than mobile, wheelchair people, people on crutches, one-legged people, anything that makes mobility difficult, people who are mentally compromised, the mentally handicapped, the developmentally disabled or delayed or whatever the hell the word they use for it now. The crazy folks, well, they're probably all going to die wherever they're locked up, but if they happen to be out, they're not going to do well either because they're too noisy a lot of times, and they might survive some of them, but who knows. So just like the elderly and infirm that way, like nobody's or the very obese. If you can't be hiking along the road and you can't defend yourself, most children, because then you have things like infections and all this other crap going on, food poisoning, blah blah. What do you catch from the environment? And then of course you have the other secondary things like most people in the world today, especially in Western society, especially in the United States, have no idea how to procure their own food. I know how to go get my own food. I know how to kill it and clean it and cook it and eat it, but not everybody does. Not everybody has the tools or the skills to do those things. And so, yeah, there's going to be a lot of dying, not a lot of surviving to begin with. So you don't want to, like cut. There is strength in numbers, so you don't want to cut your group too small if you have survivors. But you also don't want the weakest link dragging down the entire team, you know what I mean? Because that would suck ass. So, yeah, that's why I don't score well with the other folks on the game. But now I've run over what I was planning on doing, so I'm going to head up on out of here. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for subbing up. Thanks for liking all my videos. I really appreciate you guys. You guys be safe out there. Be kind. It is free. Absolutely, positively free. Kind words, kind deeds. And wear your mask. Please don't be one of those people. Just please wear your mask. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Cheers.